Hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I do hope that you're all doing well and that you're all having an incredible day. And without any further ado, let's jump right into it. This was very popular news. This cannot be overstated, and I was personally taken aback because this is not the kind of news that we would normally get as popular news, but alas, everyone thought this was the most fantastically amazing thing in the entire world. A significant worldwide contrast exists in household electricity expenses, I told you, for individual Bitcoin people trying to mine the coin. While producing one Bitcoin in Italy, now this is the crazy part, costs roughly around $208,000. You heard that correctly. That is 208,000. In Lebanon, it is apparently 783 times cheaper, according to a recent report. So why is this interesting, or why is this significant? The idea is that we typically have, after a Bitcoin halving, or even beforehand, is that you can mathematically tell exactly how much it's going to cost to mine a Bitcoin. And many people use that metric as a way to gauge exactly how much Bitcoin's price should be. You'll hear quite often, we choose to mine Bitcoin here and not there because it's far too expensive. We have left this country because electricity rates are far too high, and now we're doing it over here. The switch over to people using renewable energy sources for the sun, for the wind, or for hydropower comes because they want cheaper energy sources as opposed to the electricity that is simply given to them by whatever country that they might have been working in. So when you get news that it would roughly, depending on where people are mining it, roughly cost around $20,000 to mine a Bitcoin. You then go, Bitcoin's price is X. Cool, we're making a profit for every Bitcoin that's mined. If you're in Italy and you're paying $208,000 to mine a Bitcoin where you're operating at a gigantically heavy loss, people began to look into the numbers to see exactly where the cheapest place on earth would be technically to be able to mine an entire Bitcoin and therefore make the largest amount of profit. And it appeared to be Lebanon. But the weirdest part is the exact cost to mine a Bitcoin that seemingly got everyone into a really weird frenzy. Published in the middle of August, the report from CoinGecko revealed that only 65 countries are profitable if you're trying to mine Bitcoin, based solely on household electricity costs. Among those, 34 of the countries were in Asia, while Europe only had 5. That's a huge difference. In order to be profitable to mine a Bitcoin in Europe, you would literally need it to be the electricity cost to be under $26,000, $27,000. That means that for some reason, Italy has a $180,000 premium. Does anyone know why electricity, and I ask in the nicest way, does anyone know why electricity costs in Italy are that high? I ask because you guys have a lot of sun. Like if you look up, it's like always hot there. Like it's always like beaming down. So I would assume that there would just be solar panels on everyone and everything, and therefore lowering the, apparently not. However, people solo mining Bitcoin find themselves at odds with the worldwide average of household electricity costs. They said the average household electricity cost to mine a Bitcoin is $46,000, 35% higher than the average price of Bitcoin in July. They have July as a metric here. The report identified Italy as the costliest country to mine Bitcoin, $208,000 at the time of publication. This suggests the cost of mining one Bitcoin in Italy is roughly around 8 times the amount of one Bitcoin. Not really worth it. Austria at all. Austria was 184,000. Belgium was 172. And there's a list. Like, you aren't understanding exactly how popular this news was. And I think I get it, but it's also like a, Cool, amazing. The gigantic kicker here is that in Lebanon, while you have Italy, and it costs $208,000 to mine a Bitcoin, apparently in Lebanon, it costs $266. Yeah, get it? You see how much of a profit you would. I don't know if. I mean, I would assume after all the news we were getting over the last couple of years, there must be more than a handful of people in Lebanon who are mining their own Bitcoin. $266. That doesn't even seem like a real number to me. Like, the profit you would make for every Bitcoin you mined is just astronomical. Iran, apparently, it only costs $532 to mine a Bitcoin. But apparently, okay, I see it now. And apparently it's banned there in Iran, though, because of the amount of stress on their... I wonder. I can only imagine why there was so much stress in their energy grids, because everyone... There's a huge difference between having to pay $25,000 to mine a Bitcoin and $500. Little smidge of a difference. Very popular news. This is the actual... There's a whole gigantic world map for those of you who are not looking at the screen, or for those of you who are. It says household electricity cost to mine 1 Bitcoin. Someone made this based on the studies, and now we know exactly how it is. Most of Europe is in purple, which means expensive. I think we're supposed to be looking for like light yellow here. Cool. What? Yeah, this was very, very popular news. Also, tying directly into it, and there's more, I promise you. I'm not sure why mining took over the news for this period, but you know, that's just where we are. Tying into it, the Sultanate of Oman has launched a new cryptocurrency mining center, the second mining facility to open within the country within the past year. According to a local publication, the Oman Daily Observer, a data hosting and cryptocurrency mining center was opened in the Salalah Free Zone, which is a special economic zone in the country with low corporate taxes, obviously. A local company, Exahertz, will run the center in cooperation with the Dubai-headquartered blockchain company Moonwalk Systems. The center reportedly cost $350 million to create, and it will use the latest hardware from Bitmain, with plans to set up 15,000 machines to mine cryptocurrency by October of this year. Currently, it operates in a pilot regime with 2,000 machines online, working from 11 megawatts of consumed power, according to the report. Yeah, also in mining news. Cool. So now we have news once again, and this will do nothing. This will do absolutely nothing. The fact that we have actual news of another country who is actively creating and mining Bitcoin. Do you think they're doing it for fun, or do you think they're doing it to put away somewhere because they understand exactly how big crypto and Bitcoin are? A lot of times we have gotten news before in the past about countries actively mining Bitcoin, and it's done nothing. Not even for price wise. I mean, even for public sentiment. We have won. I'm not sure if people have understood that cryptocurrencies are here to stay forever. Like, we've won the race. We may have problems with the US SEC, but that's literally it. Look around the rest of the world. We have won. To hear that countries are actively mining Bitcoin is it's not even a win. It's like just plain old victory. Like we did it. They're making sure to invest hundreds of millions of dollars to mine these things that we own because they want more of them. So whenever we get news like this, it's actually complete. It's really incredible, but it does nothing to price nor to cryptocurrency community sentiment, because people only want to see the prices moving up, as opposed to being like, hey, this is clearly going to be around for the next 100 years. But that's not how sentiment works. That's the Mining around the world is expensive and then inexpensive. And also another country has announced that they are going to be having 15,000 machines mining cryptocurrencies by October of this year. If only good news did something to the market. And yeah. Let's move on. Also in major gigantimous news, in a new development that appears to spark very little excitement amongst people in the cryptocurrency space. Apparently, Ripple now has license size for 31 states within the United States. If this sounds familiar, it's not. The last time we heard about licenses within the U.S. was a couple of days ago, where we heard that Twitter apparently has license size for, I believe, 7 or 9, one of them, different states within the United States. The idea being, in order to have a money transmitter, whatever license within the states, you need to do it in each individual state. And apparently Ripple has 31 licenses out of 50. This is huge. This is absolutely gigantic. And I assume this is all coming off of the back of the SEC win. So Ripple's always in the news. We're constantly hearing about what they're doing, how well they're doing, how much money they're making, how far they're expanding. And I remain perplexed. And it's not even what's the word? I once was annoyed, but now I don't care, because I try to get people to understand the significance of news, of BlackRock being in the space. And for those of you who missed it, BlackRock is also mining tons of Bitcoin. But this does nothing. The idea that these companies are in the space and actively accumulating as much crypto as they possibly can seems to do nothing to the actual people who are in the market. For some reason, significant news is never significant until prices go up and then they go, why didn't I buy the last 2 years? Like, it's always that kind of thing. So hearing that this one cryptocurrency company has 31 licenses across the United States, they're actively working with, I think, 16 different countries right now who are all integrating XRP. They're also working with MasterCard, Palau, the Bank of New Zealand, you name it. And everyone just stares blankly is just absolutely fantastic. It is worth noting that licenses mentioned above are the MTLs, the money transmitter licenses, same exact thing for Twitter, which address the safety and integrity of payments within the monetary space. You basically have to say that you're going to be following anti-money laundering, KYC, know your customer rules for it. I saw a bunch of articles that were floating around that were talking about that people were talking about this on Twitter. And I was like, that's wonderful. That's fantastic. I don't care what people were saying on Twitter. I need like actual proof that this is all taking place. And I could not find any on multiple different like news websites. However, once again, coming through completely out of nowhere, it makes a lot of sense. It's actually on the Ripple website, as one would have imagined, but for some reason, no one was linking it in their articles. Everyone was like, yeah, we're and it's like, you got to show that it's actually happening. You can't just simply say that, X is taking place. So yeah, I won't name out all the states. It's not going to happen. But you know what's not there? New York. Yeah, New York is never there. And that's just something that seems to be, they even have Alaska. Alaska is also quite rare. It's like a very rare Charizard in the space to have any type of Alaskan paperwork. So yeah. The news is, once again, Ripple continues to expand. There has always been a lot of speculation as to what they were doing and how many companies and institutions they've been working with. And we got news a couple of weeks ago that apparently they're like spreading out across the United States now after the win from the lawsuit. And the latest news that we got is apparently they're working with now 30 central banks around the world who are actively going to be using the XRP blockchain and or using XRP. We weren't told which ones. I assume they have a lot of non-disclosure agreements, but shout out to everyone out there who's still not paying attention, because I can't do any more than just bring you the good news every single day. That's the Ripple. Will soon eventually have 48 licenses, because New York and another state never end up getting them. So yeah, Let's move on. I'm not sure what's in the air. Like, I actively don't understand how this keeps making it into the news. In the middle of August, it says an unexpected event in the Bitcoin space took everyone by surprise. No, it didn't. If you follow anything regarding mining Bitcoin, and not the news that we were just talking about, I mean, like, how frequently this happens, is not that it's not amazing, but it's more like, cool. One single person, not backed by massive computing power. They didn't have thousands of computer. Apparently, it was just like one little thing. Claimed the full reward of 6.25 Bitcoin for solving block number 803,821. The idea is when you're mining Bitcoin, the reason why Bitcoin mining people don't just have one computer is because you need to basically spread it out. The more computers you have, the more of a chance you have of actually getting the reward. And what usually ends up happening is, the typical way, is that it kind of gets fractionalized and everyone gets like a portion of a Bitcoin for solving the equations and yada, yada, yada. For one person using one computer to get the entire reward is kind of like seeing a Pikachu flying through the sky holding balloons as you look outside the window. That's a little bit too abstract because that would actually never happen. Anyway, the point is it's very, very rare for this to actually take place. It says, in simple terms, the person earned $160,000 minus a 2% fee from the mining service. And yeah, so everyone was going completely crazy, talking about how amazing this is. This is so and I don't know if a lot of this news ends up making it out there as like, wow, look how lucky you could be if you were also mining Bitcoin, or if it's simply like the news ends up coming out every couple of months as if like this never happens. So I remember even years ago when this would happen, people were like, whoa, that's impossible. The odds are 9 quadrillion in and it's like, no, it actually happens every couple of months. So there's that one. And then this is from the 12th of June. There was another person who ended up getting the entire reward once again in June. Here's another one from the 13th of March of this year. Once again, they beat the odds and solved the entire... It happens quite often. It's definitely a... should not normally be happening. Apparently, they had 0.002% of the total network hash rate. So they basically had nothing. Mathematically, they shouldn't have gotten it, but they ended up getting it. It's always quite nice. I like news stories like this. I don't care for the word's not centralization, ritualization of the space, where I would love if more normal people were mining Bitcoin so they could also get rewards, as opposed to these like $350 million kind of thing where only the rich remain richer and they're the only ones who have the power to mine Bitcoin. So hearing that a normal person, at least multiple times per year, is able to turn on a computer, beat the odds, and make $160,000, like imagine like you have no Bitcoin, or you have just like a couple million Satoshis, and then you end up getting 6.25 Bitcoin of an asset that is completely finite. Even owning one Bitcoin is ridiculous to think of. An entire Bitcoin is nonsense. Like, it's nearly, well, it is, I was going to say nearly impossible. No, it is impossible for everyone on the planet to own an entire Bitcoin. And then for you to be gifted with 6.25 at one, like, it's a huge thing. It's kind of amazing. So, keep up, the good fight. Everyone out there who isn't part of a gigantic conglomerate who actually ends up getting this, and I hope they. I'll say it this way: if Bitcoin ever ends up hitting $1 million, I sure hope that they keep all 6.25 so that they can be well off for the rest of their lives. That's once again Bitcoin mining news. It's just kind of everywhere right now. I don't think it's because of the halving, but it's definitely in the air. Okie dokie. Let's move on. Also I don't know why this continues to be big news, but I think that's just where we are right now. A brand new decentralized social media app called Friend Tech is once again in the news For those of you who were not here, roughly around a week ago, there was a huge kerfuffle. Everyone was angry or whatever because a social media app, apparently, like a lot of people within the cryptocurrency space for years, have been trying to make a decentralized social media platform. Part of the problem is, much like allegedly what happened to FriendTech, if it's on a blockchain and people are using it, apparently every interaction with the chain is a new transaction that gets started. I.e., if you're on a platform and you click send, that creates a new transaction on the blockchain, and therefore you have to pay a transaction fee. Sounds terrible. So apparently this new one launched. Some people were going crazy for it, and I think they lost 97% of their user retention quite quick. Allegedly, from the news that we got, because people figured out you had to like load up the website with crypto. If you tried to post something, that was a transaction. If you click somewhere, that was another transaction. So you could literally see that you were losing money just clicking around the website, and that wasn't the best thing in the entire world for anyone. I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't like it. And then we heard from the people from FriendTech who were like, yeah, we don't expect like normal people to really understand. And they were trying to like, it was framed weirdly like, well, if you're into crypto, then you know, then you're cool and you know what's going on, as opposed to being like, why do people keep trying to make decentralized social media apps that aren't working unless you have a blockchain that has free transactions? And then even then it's kind of like, it would be relatively clunky until we get to like blockchain 5.0 levels where we don't have to worry about that happening anymore. Also, once again in the news is now FriendTech has now been met with intense criticism over a decision to punish users who are trying to use copycats or forks of the tokenized social media platform. So much like anything on a blockchain, you can fork it. We don't talk about forks as much anymore. They were very big in the 2017s, 2018s. The idea is you can fork a blockchain to basically create a copy of it, or kind of like a branch from the tree, if you will. It's a copy of the earlier transactions, but sometimes people will fork a blockchain, rework the code in like little ways, and basically make little improvements, if you will. This is why we have many other forks from other chains, because people were claiming that they were able to make a brand new Ethereum, a brand new Bitcoin, a brand new this coin, you name it, they forked it. And now people are apparently making forks of this social media platform, and the people from the social media platform aren't too happy with them doing it. That's not how decentralization works. If it's decentralized, you can do whatever you want on the chain because it's run by the community, it's run by the people. They said to make sure that loyal users are rewarded fairly during our beta, users moving to forks and copies will automatically be opting out of earning points, and they will forfeit their existing points. I assume points is kind of like a reward system in some sort of way. This was written by them on Twitter. They said, we expect FriendTech clones and other types of copies will emerge, yada, 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 so forth and so forth. People were not happy with this. I am shocked at all that anyone's still using it. I can't imagine a world where I would want to pay real crypto money to use a social media platform when we have like 3 other existing ones that are like free, you know, wink, free. That is to say non-decentralized ones that don't charge a fee to actually use it. And then I feel like you telling people who are on your platform who decide to at any point use another fork. Like imagine you're using Twitter and someone like, hey, we made Twitter Birdie. And you're like, oh my gosh, I want to try Twitter Birdie. And you click on the Twitter Birdie, and then all your points that you had on Twitter get revoked because you wanted to see what the other platform looked like. It's a little bit weird. So I didn't know that anyone was even still using FriendTech. Also, can someone explain to me why nearly everything within the cryptocurrency space has a weird name? Is it on purpose? Like remember when we had like Sushi Swap, Pancake Swap, Flapjack Swap? Not a thing, but it sounds real. FriendTech? You know that how many? I feel like there are a lot of other names that they could have created or used. Friend tech doesn't make any sense. Friend technology? Hey, oh, don't forget to add me on Friend Technology later. Anyway, that's the Friend Tech news. Apparently, this was once again very big. I would logically like to assume that this is the last time that we're going to hear about this, but I feel like we're not, because for some reason people really like or are using Friend Tech. Do people like spending money using a social media platform? All right, that's the Friend Tech news. And yeah, let's move on. In actual news that I thought more people would be excited about, Binance Japan, which started operations earlier this month, announced that they are going to be offering 100 tokens on their platform. Why is this significant? We just went over this like a couple of days ago as well. Japan is a very regulatorily stringent country. They years ago banned nearly every single cryptocurrency within the market. I think they only were allowing 7 or 8 within their borders. But that number continues to increase. I assume they're reviewing, looking over these other coins, and, cool. But I think at the moment, 30 maximum are allowed within their country. So Binance announcing that they're going to be listing 70 more tokens in, once again, the country that was running the cryptocurrency market before. I assume this would have made bigger waves. Binance Japan plans to work with other local crypto exchanges in the country to provide better liquidity within the market, a representative from Binance Japan said in a briefing. The Japanese arm of Binance, the world's largest crypto exchange, currently has 34 tokens. It previously said that customers in Japan will be able to access services such as spot trading, earned products, and also the NFT market as well. Okay. Anyway, apparently, they're going to be offering 100 coins. That's significant as we move further and further into the bull market and the whole 2024, 2025 madness. I'm not the only one who's having conversations about this, right? I saw my friends yesterday. Hello. And we planned on not talking about crypto. And then for 3.5 hours, we sat at the restaurant just talking about the market 2021 and where we're expecting prices to go in 2024 and then also 2025. There's a lot of hype going on. There's a lot of stuff for prices and where people are expecting things to go. Anyway, yeah, so as we move closer and closer towards the halving, the good news continues to roll on in, and it's just a matter of the market actually absorbing the good news and realizing how good things are going to be. Yeah, I do hope that you have all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and or supporting, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.